What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Alex Reviews. So, I was planning on doing more Christmas stuff. First off, sorry if you can't quite hear me as well. I don't have my mic, and my voice is not up to par right now, so sorry. I'm kind of just trying here. Anyways, so I was going to do Christmas specials all throughout this week, but a little wrench got thrown into that plan. I went and saw Moana today, yesterday if you're watching this on Wednesday, and I've decided I'd get a review out on it because I know I'm the Disney nerd and you guys probably are wondering what I think about Moana. So, before we get into the review, here's something that I just need to say this. Moana has the best Disney soundtrack ever, and probably the best soundtrack in all of cinema. It's an amazing soundtrack. How Far I'll Go is my favorite Disney song of all time right now, and Where You Are and You're Welcome. Those are just amazing songs, and I know Lin-Manuel Miranda helped on the music and everything, but my God, did they do a fucking good job. This is an amazing soundtrack, and honestly, this is a must-see movie just for the soundtrack, to be honest with you. I mean, the movie's really good, trust me, I like it, and I'll say why in the review. But, Mike, you just have to watch the movie for the soundtrack. I possibly might go see this again just for the soundtrack. So, without further adu, let's get right into the review. First off, this is directed by my favorite directors at Disney, Ron Clements and John Musker. They also had some help from Don Hall and another man that I forgot to write down a name. And these are the guys that did Aladdin, they did The Princess and the Frog, they did The Great Mouse Detective, they did Treasure Island, Treasure Planet, and they did The Little Mermaid. And this is another film by them, and they did a fantastic job. Amazingly well done. So, the review. The originality of this film. If I do have one problem with Moana, this is the most unoriginal film in a while. We're getting into this Disney Renaissance Part 2 here. Ever since, really, personally, Bolt, but for everyone else, The Princess and the Frog, we've been kind of in a Disney Renaissance where all these movies are starting to come back. And besides Wreck-It Ralph, I've liked every single movie since Bolt. Just those films like Bolt, The Princess and the Frog, Tangled, the other Winnie the Pooh, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and now Moana. I've liked all of these films. Zootopia is the best, and this is really good. This is not quite as good as Zootopia, but it's just below par. But this is probably the most unoriginal of that aspect. This reminds me a lot of the movie Surf's Up by Sony. It's a similar aspect in the way that it's about, well, water, and another thing that it is about, like, a certain type of culture, kind of like a Brother Bear-esque thing. It's about this certain culture and what they believe in and what their beliefs are, and it kind of just forms in with Surf's Up and a little bit of Brother Bear. I had another movie in mind, I can't think of it right now, but mix those two together. You don't quite exactly have Moana, because Moana does a little bit different, and that's what I like about it. It does things a little bit differently. But I'm giving it a 1 out of 5 for the originality, because I've seen more original stuff, like Zootopia, that incredible film. The predictability of this film, of course, with it being Disney, it's fairly predictable. But really, it's not predictable up until the third act of the film, where I think it starts to go down just a little bit. But very good film. Very good predictability. 3 out of 5 on the predictability. This is just an amazing film. The characters. If I had just another little nitpick, I honestly didn't like Maui. Yeah. First off, talking about Maui, I didn't know The Rock could sing. Thumbs up. That guy can do anything. Anyways, besides that, Maui, he was fine for a little bit, but his shtick of being this jackass kind of started to get a tiny bit annoying, and it kept getting annoying, and it kept getting a little more annoying, and it just did not work for me that much. about second act, I was a bit tired of The Rock, or like third act, because mid second act, because he doesn't come in until about the second act. So yeah, he gets a little bit tiring, but Moana brings it up. Moana is one of my favorite characters in Disney. She is just an amazing, she's a leader for one, and I like how they don't mention the female being the leader. They don't give that any concern. That is terrific. That's what you're supposed to do with this. And Disney does it perfectly, unlike with Frozen, where people kind of had a bit of a problem. Or like in Zootopia, where they had a bit of a problem with Judy being a bunny cop, obviously referring to female or a minority. In this film, there's nothing to it. It's just like, oh, she's going to be the chief, oh, who cares? And that's how it should be. I like how they did that. And Moana is just an amazing character. I even like Hey Hey, who's a little chicken. I was expecting the pig to be in this as a comedic sidekick too, and he just disappears and shows up at the end, which I thought was a bit weird. 8 out of 10 on the characters. The story and the plot, again, it follows this Disney formula thing, but really, it goes off of the track a little bit enough to where it felt, and this is where I disagree with what Doug Walker said. He says that it follows the formula up until the par, with it going off track one time. I think it goes off track several times, with just slight differences thrown in. Maybe it's just for me, since I'm strictly a Disney fan, and I'm a movie fan, but like, I know a little bit more about Disney, so I can tell when it starts to go off of the charts just a little bit, and it was going off of that pretty fairly often, and then coming back to it. And it did it so much where it didn't really matter that much. So I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. The moral of the film. Moral of the film being, sure, you can have fun home where you are, but there's nothing wrong with traveling out. And objects don't define you, you define you. Those are the two main messages of this film, and it does it perfectly. It pulls it off very well. Excellent, excellent way that they did that. 10 out of 10. The animation of this film, my god, is the animation beautiful in this film. I love it. This is the most beautiful Disney animated film that I've seen yet. Character animation on Maui, again, is a little bit weird, but I do like the tattoo that goes around and just travels around his body. That is really creative. I love it. 10 out of 10. Beautiful animation. Is it or will it be dated? This film has no chance in hell of being dated. There's nothing in it that could date this film. 5 out of 5 there. The pacing of the film, this was a really well-paced film. It was very fast. Like, the film's only about an hour and 40 minutes, and it felt like it was done in about 40 minutes, or maybe close to an hour. It was really, really weird, because usually I don't see, this is one of the fastest paced films of the year, and it was just weird, but I liked it. It needed to be fast-paced, and it was fast-paced. So I'm going to give the pacing a 5 out of 5. The impact of the film. This film really, really, really impacted me. Like, I was crying when Grandma died. I legitimately, I was crying. No kidding. I mean, because I love her character too, Grandma Tala. She was an amazing character. I love the way that they made me connect with her right off the bat. Again, also with Moana, unlike they did with Maui, which is a bit sad, but 10 out of 10 on the impact. Any film that makes me cry is normally going to get a 10 out of 10 on the impact. Does it hit the target audience and beyond? It definitely does. Kids love this film. Adults are going to love this film. If you go, yeah, this is definitely a family film. Go with your kid to go see this film. An amazing film. 10 out of 10 there. The relatability of the film, these characters are so relatable. Even Maui, even though I think he's a little bit less relatable than the others, there's still instances where you can relate to him. 10 out of 10 there. The voice acting. Oh my god. So, I really don't want to mispronounce it, but I probably am. Auli'i Cravaloho, or whatever your name is. Moana. She voice acts Moana. She does a fantastic job. Amazingly well done by her. I like how they got a new artist. They did get The Rock, and I'm so glad that The Rock actually sang. And he's good, too. That's what really shocked me. But The Rock did a good job. Rachel House is Grandma Tala, and I love how Rachel House just makes me instantly connect with Grandma Tala because she's a little bit seen as an outcast even by her own son. Tamura Morrison is Chief Tui, which is the dad. Christopher Jackson sings his part. Good job there by Christopher Jackson. Another guy that was on Hamilton with Lin-Manuel Miranda, who helped with the music of this film. He was George Washington. And then Jermaine Clement as Tamatoa, Nicole Scherzinger as Cena, which I did not know, and Alan Tudyk plays a couple people. Also, Miss Shue from Hamilton is also a background singer. So yeah, Philippi Sue or something like that. Anyways, 10 out of 10 on the voice acting. Overall, this film gets a 9.2 out of 10. Moana is an incredible film. You, yes you, need to go watch this film right now. If not just for the soundtrack, but for the movie in general. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. It's a little bit predictable, and it's not really the most original movie. I've seen this happen several times. I went into this film having really no expectations because I hadn't even seen... I've seen one trailer for this film, and I really couldn't grasp anything from it, but this film did a great job, and it's just amazing. So, go watch Moana. I'll probably have a Christmas review up for you Friday or Saturday, depending on whether or not when I record, and hopefully I get over this sickness here. Also, I plan to have the top 10 worst hit songs of 2016 out for you... next Monday. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.